That right there is Thao Forest Park, about 30 minutes from Hua Hin, and to think we almost didn't go. We had an overdue water bill to pay and thought, why not make a day of it? Turned out to have been a great decision. Let me show you everything. Hi, welcome back. We're a family of 5 with 3 young kids, and today I want to show you what it's like visiting Pran Buri as a family. I wanted to make a video about this because I feel like Pran Buri still very much flies under the radar here in Thailand. Our first stop was Thao Forest Park, and honestly this place blew us away. It is still very unspoiled, super beautiful, and the main standout is a big cliff right on the beach. And because the cliff is right on the beach, there's a good amount of natural shade, and a lot of people like to set up right there. So the beach itself felt quite natural and still unspoiled, which is quite different from what we're used to from like the more developed beach areas. We went on a weekday, we went on a Friday, and it was not busy at all. It was not touristy. Even though you do see some foreigners there, it just felt very calm, serene, and peaceful, which was really nice. And right when you enter the beach, there's a vendor there who's renting out beach chairs and tables. When I asked her how much it was, she told me it was 130 baht per chair. And something to keep in mind, right at the entrance, there's actually multiple signs indicating that it's not allowed to consume alcohol, just so you're aware of that. We arrived right around lunchtime, so I was a little bit scared that it was going to be extremely hot there. But when we got there, it was honestly very refreshing, and there was a pretty strong sea breeze, so it was just felt really, really nice. One thing to note though, when we got there, it was low tide, and then like the stretch of dry sand was extremely hot, like burning hot. So here's a tip for you. Don't take off your sandals like we did. The kids and I, we all took off our shoes when we got to the beach, and it got so hot we had to run to the wet sand part. Once you get to the wet sand part, you're totally fine, but it was just so hot, and honestly it was quite a bit painful. On the way back, we just put on our shoes and we walked like that, and then my husband and I were actually carrying the kids as well. The water there is very calm. It's actually very shallow. I don't know if it's because it was low tide, but it was just so nice. Our baby had a blast just crawling around. It was just so shallow that it was fine. The water was also warm, and there were no big waves. There was no strong currents. It was perfect for little ones, to be honest. And while we were there, we also noticed there were other families with young kids there. It just felt really safe, and it was so nice. Like our 3 kids had such a blast. This particular beach is actually really long. We didn't walk all the way because with the kids, they just wanted to play in the water and the sand. But we noticed that in the middle of the beach, there was a good number of people kite surfing, which was pretty cool. It just kind of gave it a really cool atmosphere. And then the cliff that's on the beach, you can actually climb up all the way to the top, and I'm sure it must be absolutely beautiful. Unfortunately, with the kids, the heat, and then all of us being hungry, we decided against going to the viewpoint. But I do want to go back one day and do that hike. And if you get hungry or need a refreshment, right across the street from the beach, there's a whole lineup of vendors where you can get lunch, snacks, fruit snacks. There are also vendors selling beach toys and water toys. So that was really nice and seems very practical. We actually found a stall on the side of the road, so we didn't have to cross the street even. We walked over, and the vendor was selling barbecue chicken with other dishes that looked really yummy. And then she also had fruit shakes, so our kids both had a watermelon shake, which they really, really liked. And after she finished making their shakes, she actually cut up some watermelon and she handed it to us, and she said, "Oh, here, it's for the baby." We thought it was just so sweet of her. And when we wanted to give her a tip, she just refused. She did not want to take our money, and she kept saying, no, it's for the baby, for the baby. So it was just very heartwarming. We're very grateful, and I just hope that her business does well. And then we also noticed that right across the street, there's an actual coffee shop there. So in case you need your caffeine fix or you need a little pick-me-up, that seemed like a good option. And in case you arrive by car, there's also a paid parking lot right there. And next, with the kids recharged, we decided it was finally time to go pay that water bill, so we took care of that. And after that, we were really hungry, so we found a cafe where we had lunch and dessert, and that cafe was called Wandi Cafe. It was actually really, really lovely and very charming. It turned out to be a bit of a photo spot, which was kind of interesting. When we arrived there, we were the only customers, but by the time we left, there had been a steady stream of visitors, and they would like get a snack and then take a bunch of pictures in front of the cafe, which was just fun to watch. For lunch, we all had noodle soup, and when we asked the staff for bowls, they actually came out with some cute Disney-themed bowls and utensils, which was really nice for the kids. And the staff was very kind and welcoming, though they only spoke Thai, which was fine because we could use a translator app, and that way communication was very easy. But the highlight for us at the cafe was a dessert. My husband and kids all had a scoop of ice cream, but I decided to try the banana wontons with whipped cream and chocolate drizzle. And let me tell you, it was so delicious. It was just so good. If you ever visit Wandi Cafe, I highly recommend that you try this dish. You won't regret it. And then an interesting little detail was that right next to the cafe, there was an empty lot and it had a bunch of cows grazing there. And I just found it very charming and just very unique. It just kind of added to that charm of the cafe. And also right in front of the cafe, there was actually a large parking lot that's semi-covered. So that seemed very convenient. And by the time we were done with dessert, we just all kind of felt tired, like the good kind of tired from being outdoors, and we decided to head back. But if you're ever in the area or if you're looking for a day trip from Hua Hin, then both of these places are really worth a visit. If you have any questions or comments, leave them down below and subscribe for more travel inspiration. Hope to see you in the next video. Bye!